your hot water. Make sure that you have got your tea, whatever it is that you're wanting. We are going to be delving into Prana Vayu. We're heading with my favorite teacher again, Dr. Vasant Lad. We're going to be delving into part 2 of Prana Vayu. If you didn't get part 1, listen back to that after this so that you have a little bit of an intro into that. Welcome, my name is Nina. I am a yoga teacher trainer here at the Academy of Yoga and Ayurveda, where we have a number of yoga teacher training courses and training in Ayurveda. So if you would like to find out more, remember to head down into our descriptions. But what we're going to be exploring today is looking a little bit more at Prana Vayu and exactly what that means. So we were chatting yesterday a lot about like how Prana Vayu has got this in and downward movement, and it affects the mind and our mental state a lot. So just to continue where we kind of like left off, and that is kind of like when prana is motionless. So when it is still, absolutely still, it is pure choiceless awareness. So when it is completely still, there is this pure choiceless awareness. Choice, when we then make a choice is a vibration. Something has moved. Something has happened. Choice is a vibration and movement. Therefore, choice becomes desire, and desire causes one to choose. All right, so just noticing that. So when there is a choice, there is a desire, and that desire causes us to then choose that way or that way. By controlling prana through pranayama, one controls the choice and desire and hence the mind. In this way, prana becomes manas, mind. And so with Prana Vayu, again, this is just a reminder that the mind is a flow of thoughts. And if the thoughts brings fear, the mind is going to be fearful. If the thought is positive, the mind is going to be positive. If the thought is anger, then the mind is going to be anger. And so by, again, improving our thinking, our thought process, we're going to improve the state of our mind. And that is key. And according to modern medicine, thought is a biochemical vehicle, but according to Ayurveda, thought is a vibration of prana. And to go beyond thought is the highest pranayama breathing practice. So just keeping that in mind. All right. Let's have a look at a couple of symptoms that happen when this Prana Vayu is out of balance and what that causes within us. So imbalance of Prana Vayu can also cause dyspnea, undue awareness of respiration, or breathlessness. So usually, and so exercise can, again, create like a shortness of breath, as can some emotions such as anger. Pregnancy and obesity can cause breathlessness. However, dyspnea at rest is a sign of cardiac involvement. If a person has congenital heart failure or right ventricular failure, there is increased cardiopulmonary action, and the person will experience breathlessness at rest. So if you're lying there and you're noticing breathlessness at rest, then you know that there is an issue with the Prana Vayu. Then you probably know that, again, it is affecting the mind. The choices that you're making, the mental state is affecting the mind. And so, again, we want to be moving more towards like those positive choices, and that is going to slowly affect our mind and is going to help balance Prana Vayu. Other symptoms of Prana Vayu disorders are, have a listen to this and notice if any of these, if you relate to any of these, because if you do, you can actually start shifting them with a state of awareness and, again, what you're putting into your brain, into your mind. So disorders are anxiety, nervousness, fear, and anger. And those are very common traits of us Vatas when we go too much to the extreme, when we get too much out of balance. We notice all these traits very, very quickly. Anger is pitta, but pitta can disturb Prana Vayu as a psychological manifestation. So the inability to focus the mind or concentrate is also a symptom of imbalance of Prana Vayu. Diseases of Prana Vayu imbalance include stroke, paralysis, grand mal epilepsy, petit mal epilepsy, sleep apnea, and tremors of Parkinson's. Respiratory disorders include bronchitis, asthma, pneumonia, as well as hiccups and constant burping. I do have a friend who does have this like constant burping story coming up, and that is again a big disorder of Prana Vayu, of the vata within you being disrupted. And so if you notice any of these symptoms, if you have any of these symptoms, you know that you really got to hone in and work towards bringing vata into balance. And what are the 3 ways that we bring vata into balance very, very easily? It is the 3 R's that I've always been taught, which Jennifer teaches on our 40-hour training in Ayurveda. So again, if you're needing to hear this more than once, you need to find out about our training in Ayurveda. The first R is rest. You need to make sure that you're getting proper, good rest. And that means you might have to work with streamlining your evening routine so that you can get good rest. The second one is rest regularity. You want to make sure that you are, for example, eating your meals at regular meal times. It's so important that you have this regularity because vata thrives on that. It is so dispersed, it is so excitable and changeable and volatile that what it needs to hone in is this idea of regularity. That means you should have breakfast at the same time, lunch at the same time, dinner at the same time, so that your body and your mind knows that it is getting fed, it is getting nourished at these times. And then the third R is routine. So you want to make sure that you actually have somewhat of a routine in your everyday life. Now, it doesn't have to be exactly the same all day long, but you want to make sure that you have your morning routine in place. You want to make sure that you have kind of like your lunchtime routine in place. You want to make sure you have a really, really good evening routine in place to help you wind down and get that full nourishment of rest and sleep. So that is Prana Vayu in a nutshell. It is a long one because it is so important, because it impacts the mind so greatly. And I do just want to actually read this one paragraph because it's so important again. And I think it hits home. Mind is a flow of thoughts. If thought brings fear, the mind becomes fear. If thought breeds anger, the mind becomes anger. If there is positive thinking, the mind becomes positive. If there's negative thinking, the mind becomes negative. Changing thought is changing the mind. By improving thinking, one will improve the mind. An improvement of mind is an improvement of man. As the thought, so the mind, and as the mind, so the man. And so that is what I wanted to leave you with, is that if you can change your thinking, it can change your mind, and it can then change you. And this doesn't happen overnight. This is a practice. Ayurveda is a daily practice, a moment-to-moment practice, observing how you in this moment, in the state right now, and then taking action to bring yourself back into balance. If you're noticing, golly, I've gone down negative thinking patterns. No wonder I'm upset. No wonder I've got these heart palpitations. Okay, let me bring myself into the positive mindset. And that is essential to health. And that is what we at the Academy of Yoga and Ayurveda want for you, is so that not just for you, but for you and your students. And when we understand this, when we understand these practices, that we are then able to kind of like bring wellness to everyone. I hope this is helpful. I hope this was insightful. Again, let me know if you're catching the replay. Let me know in the comments below what was the aha moment for you. And if you have any questions, you're welcome to leave them there. Otherwise, be sure to catch us tomorrow or the next video, depending on when you're catching this recording. And we are going to be chatting about Udanu Vayu. See you then. Bye. See you guys.